How to use Nvidia Shadowplay. So the first step is to make sure your computer supports Shadowplay. You can do this by downloading CPU-Z. You can also open up Run by pushing the Windows key and then R, and you can type in dxdiag. And if you hit OK, that'll open up your system information, but this is a little bit easier to read. So if you download this free program, I'll have a link in the description. You click on the Graphics tab, you want to look at your GPU name. It needs to say Nvidia GTX 600 or newer, so 600, 700, or 900 series graphics card. If it says AMD or Intel or anything else, then Shadowplay will not work on your system. If you're still not sure, you can go to the GeForce Experience website, download the free software, again I'll have links, and then you can load it up, click on the My Rig tab, click on Shadowplay, and you want to make sure you have this check mark. If you do not have the check mark, then you can't use Shadowplay and this tutorial won't apply to you. You'll want to go and find something like Fraps or Open Broadcaster. So if you are supported, let's get started with Shadowplay. The first step is to click that button up there and then turn it on. Now you can't see it for some reason in this recording, but I have a little status indicator up here. If you don't like where that status indicator is located, maybe you want it in a different corner of your screen, you can click on the gears and then you can change the overlay options in this menu. So if you have a webcam, you can select which corner your webcam camera will show up in. You can turn it off completely. You can also select the size of the webcam. I don't have a webcam, so I can't demonstrate that. For the status indicator, you can turn it off and also select the corner, and same thing with your FPS counter. Now, you want to make sure that Allow Desktop Capture is checkmarked, because in my experience, Shadowplay doesn't turn on for a lot of games unless this is checkmarked, especially if you're playing games in windowed mode. Now, if you're playing a game in a windowed mode, and it's, let's say, like I'm just going to open up City Skylines here. So this is a windowed 720p City Skylines, and everything around it will get recorded when I activate Shadowplay. If you play windowed games like this a lot, then I would recommend using a different software like Fraps, because Fraps does a lot better job of detecting windowed games than Shadowplay does. I don't know why I don't know why Shadowplay is so bad at that. If you play full screen games and you don't have to worry about all this stuff around you getting recorded, you can use Shadowplay all you want, just as long as the game is full screen. So as for these other options, the microphone option, I keep this on push to talk so I don't accidentally activate it, but if you want, you can have it on always on. As for the keyboard shortcuts, you need to set these two options, are the main important ones for this tutorial. So this lets you save the last 20 minutes recorded. My hotkey is F7, and this is what Shadowplay does. It allows you to record the last 20 minutes of footage that you played behind you, and that way you don't have to record constantly throughout your gameplay. So if something spectacular happened in the last 20 minutes and you weren't recording, when I push F7, I'll be able to keep that footage as long as it was in 20 minutes behind me. I can also record manually with this hotkey. In my case, it's F8. This allows me to tell it Shadowplay when to record, and then I can tell it when to stop recording, and that's useful if I want to make a video deliberately for whatever reason. For these other options, they're pretty self-explanatory, so that would be like broadcasting, because you can live stream from Shadowplay. I'll explain that in a second, and you can also activate push-to-talk and these other options. For your recordings menu, you'll want to make sure that the save location is in a spot where you want it, so in my case it goes onto my 2 terabyte recording drive. Just put that wherever it makes you happy. For your temporary files, I would leave that default. So once those settings make you happy, then you can open up Shadowplay again, that button up there. And for the mode, I'm going to go over Twitch really quickly just because this isn't a streaming tutorial, but when you click on Twitch, you can log into your Twitch account, then you'll be able to live stream using Shadowplay. You can set the quality here. I would recommend custom. This allows you to change your resolution, your frame rate, and also the bit rate. Now the quality settings, Shadowplay is not the most stable, so I don't know why that keeps going away. But anyway, your quality settings will be dependent on your internet connection when it comes to live streaming. So play around with that, see which doesn't lag the least, or see which lags the least, and you'll be good to go. For your audio, you can set it to in-game or in-game and microphone, or turn it off completely. So let's go back to shadow and manual modes. If you want, you can have only shadow or you can have only manual, but I would recommend having both. For shadow time, like I said, this will record 20 or however many minutes you set behind you. So you can reduce it all the way down to 1 minute if the meter would want to go, or you can put it all the way back up at 20. Now there's going to be a little indicator here telling you how much hard drive space that will be using as long as Shadowplay is active. When you turn Shadowplay off, that hard drive space will be freed up. For your quality, same thing, keep it on custom. You can set your resolution here. I would recommend keeping that in-game. For your bitrate, the higher this is, the larger your file size will be, but sometimes the better the quality is. So 50 is generally good enough. For your frame rate, that you will want that to be 60, and you can also set it to 30 if you desire. For your audio, once again, you can turn it off, have your in-game and your microphone, or just your in-game. Now, if you notice Shadowplay isn't recording your microphone and it isn't recording your game audio, you want to come down here to the bottom right part of your screen, right-click on the horn, and click on Playback Devices. Then you'll want to left-click on the horn again, and then just click on this. And wherever those bars move is where the sound is coming out of, and you'll want to make sure that device is defaulted, because Shadowplay will record from your default device. For your recording, you'll want to make sure that your microphone is your default device. So in my instance here, my Yeti is my default device. To make something your default, all you have to do is right-click it and set as default. Then once that's all set up, you can just click OK and you're ready to record. Now I'm going to demonstrate Shadowplay, but this unfortunately won't be as good as a demonstration as it was in my Fraps video. So I'm going to push F8 and it's going to start recording, and you can't see it in the video, but there's a little indicator here that just turned green in the top right of my screen. Now when I push F8 once more, then it's going to save that, and that's my manual recording way. Now, because Cities Skylines is in a 720p window, Shadowplay recorded everything around it, and if I turn off the Shadowplay option to be active on the desktop, then I won't be able to record at all because it's just not going to pick up Cities Skylines. So now I'm going to push F7, and that'll save the last however many minutes it managed to pick up, probably around 7 minutes, because that's about the length of this video. And then I'm going to open it up here. I'm going to go to my recording drive and click on this folder. So I have two files. This one is my Shadowplay recording. This recorded 1.5 minutes, or just over 1.5 minutes behind me. So this was stuff I wasn't recording with Shadowplay at all during my tutorial, but as you see, it saved it. And this other one is my manual recording. This is only 8 seconds long, and as you can see, because Cities Skylines wasn't full screened, it recorded everything around it. So for this instance, I mean, okay, let me put it this way. If I had to recommend a recording software, I would say Shadowplay is good for really demanding games that are full screened, because Shadowplay will lag you a heck of a lot less than Fraps will, and Shadowplay gives better quality than Open Broadcaster does. The issue with Shadowplay is you need an Nvidia graphics card, and you need to make sure that it works with your game, because I have had games where it just flat out doesn't work. In those cases, Fraps is better for me because I can have a game like Cities Skylines windowed, and maybe I have it idling on my second monitor, and if something shows up, I can just record it with Fraps, and that's because Fraps does a heck of a lot better job detecting my windowed games than Shadowplay does. So that is it for the basics of using Shadowplay. I'm going to have a tutorial on how to use Open Broadcaster to record your desktop, and that'll be in another video. But thanks for watching this video.